mistakes.
Yeah, they very much seem to be cleaning it up. And taking a look at what we got coming up next in this series here between the teams is I believe it is going to be Weedham Boys up against Pulse Drunk. Weedham Boys, we're all those boys. That's what we've decided today because it is real easy to be on their hype train.
Yeah, it's a little bit sad that they ended up losing against Gatekeepers this morning. Of course, they won 4 rounds and then lost the last couple. Gatekeepers, though, a very formidable opponent, really showing that the Weedham Boys aren't a team you can just look over, though. And against Pulse Drunk, I think Pulse Drunk's really going to have to work for this one.
Is there any major element that you think that Pulse Drunk might want to depend on, or a weakness on the side of the Weedham Boys that they got to try and rely on to get the upper hand here?
So we know Weedham Boys is playing with a stand-in who pretty much singularly plays Thorn. I think maybe if we could get a Shifu pick in there, I think it could be good. We saw how good Shifu is against the Thorn last match, though I'm not 100% sure if this side of Pulse Drunk has a Shifu player.
And I also want to ask, because when I see the Blossom as well, when you're talking about the M1 stacks on the tree itself, like you got to be really, you know, whenever you see a Blossom pick up that Shifu got that much better, right? In that type of situation. So I've got to ask here, if you don't expect a Blossom being picked up, is the Shifu trade into a Thorn still worth that kind of adjustment?
It's not as like steamrolly, but it's still very good. Just because you can hit Barbed Husk and material, get value out of your EX space. Shifu, as a character, relies so heavily on his EX space that when you have an easy way to get that healing proc, it just helps him so much. It gives him M1 stacks, it heals him. So it's just really all about that ability. And Barbed Husk, you can just hit it. Yeah,
you can just go ahead and slap it all day. Not going to matter there, but we see the Ulrich and the Thorn is going to be the first rotation.
I wonder if Pulse Drunk is going to switch to the older. We saw them like to play the double support earlier with that Blossom. I would be very interested to see if they do that. They pick up the Thorn. I like that. The Iva from Weedham Boys, we've talked all day about how good Iva is against these buff-up comps. Lots of things to cleanse from the Ulrich. Also the Thorn, you can cleanse his Thorn buff. Really good.
Yeah, the Thorn has a huge impact on how it plays out. And if we do see them commit to the double support, Thorn, you know, when it comes to the utility that he may have as the solo individual getting that damage output, he does make up for it in the area of crowd control. We were kind of putting those concerns before. Still going to be high risk, and we'll see if they end up committing to it. They don't. We see more standard compositions from these teams, willing to mix up things with a Jade and a Lucy.
As somebody that's played a lot of Lucy lately, I'm really excited to see L'Oreal play Lucy. He looked very, very good on her earlier. On the side of Pulse Drunk, they're going to be playing the Jade. I don't know, man. I don't feel good about Jade currently. Of course, they have the easy setup. They have the Thorn, the ability to entangling roots into snipe, that kind of thing. Yeah. It is very strong. Jade has good orb control, but still, I just think she's pretty hard in this meta.
Is there maybe an argument for the Jade versus Iva matchup is going to be big enough? I mean, you are obviously a Jade master, so I'm going to go ahead and send this your way. But in my mind, when I see Ivas, I go, you're going to come in and you're going to cycle your damage at a very, you know, offensive time frame, and having that disabling shot and that counter momentum with my spacebar out usually is enough for me to kind of go, if you're going to commit, I actually trade up on top and then I buy a little bit of time.
It goes both ways because you have a disabling shot, but she has a taser. And the sad thing is if she uses the taser.
I've got a disabling shot. I've got a taser.
Yeah, exactly. If she has a taser and she hits you with it immediately after you EXQ, you can just get ruined. Your day's over. So I think they match pretty evenly. It's not like one steamrolls the other, but I think it is 55-45 in favor of the Iva. So I don't really know. Jade is pretty good against Lucy. Of course, she's not very mobile. You can just hit her with snipes from downtown. So there is value in this Jade pick. I just think it's going to be a little hard for him.
Yeah, and you know, as a dude plays a reasonable amount of Thorn, I definitely don't feel like I'm in a bad position whenever I am up against a Jade whatsoever.
I hate Thorn versus Jade. I hate playing Jade versus Thorn. His entangling roots is going to hit you regardless of what you do other than space.
The best part about it, every one of the moments that where Jade wants to sit back and snipe, you have so many tools to be able to do it. Between your spacebar, your E, and your Q, it's like, oh, Jade, I hear a snipe. Just throw it out and just be like, I think she's probably here. You're going to make her have a bad time. The E hits, still the bad time. And then if worst of all, you just let the snipe go off, burrow on the ground, and eventually she gets revealed and you're back on top of the Jade, making stuff happen.
God.
I love it.
I'm getting triggered over here listening to you talk about this. I'm going to need you to stop right quick.
L'Oreal and Lucy before was playing extremely defensive when it came to that positioning and the posturing.
Yes.
Does Pulse Drong's composition have enough offensive capabilities to get past that? I mean, double melee with the Ulrich and the Thorn to dive onto the backline. Jade's not terrible. I feel like it being a little bit more offensive. I mean,
absolutely. The Jade snipes. That's going to help out quite a lot. Of course, earlier when we saw L'Oreal played Lucy, he played very defensively. There weren't any long-range abilities that could just hit him from downtown. They were playing with the Bako, Blossom, Ashka, and Ashka can kind of do that. He can throw Qs really far away, but Gatekeepers aren't going to do that. They're going to combo, so they want to hold the Volcano. So I think Jade is really good against this Lucy simply because she can apply that pressure from so far away.
As we get things underway. really big open area when it comes to this arena. Interesting kind of angle points too, as Geekish Nerd poking and prodding with that snipe, questioning if he wants to make it happen. But after that pull in, the immediate follow-up there from that M2, and that is already Blood Assassin on that Iva, down to 33%.
Yeah, out of nowhere, he just gets burst. The orb is going to be secured by Pulstrunk too, and this is a great start for them, close to ideal.
Snipe 2 comes out, lands onto Iva. No pressure on Lorio yet, but as Iva falls lower and lower, you can sure they're going to swap their attention there. Ulrich gets double spacebar, double stun as the ultimate comes out from Freya. All four, or it's not Freya, excuse me, the Jade. All 4 shots landing on a Satyr, and now they're going to really get this pressure as Ulrich goes in, lands another stun. Aegis connects.
Yeah, Geekish Nerd trying to find a lineup, but he ends up not being able to get it because of a pull. Now Satyr taking quite a bit of damage. They need to find some damage on Sephiroth. He drops the ultimate on the Iva, but it's not going to get too much value. And now nobody on the blue team is healthy, and the aggression's not being led up by red. They smell blood in the water, and they want this kill. But the triple dead roots, it's not going to be enough, however, as Bloods goes down.
Such a miracle opportunity there for Satyr to maybe come back into that round, but
they might find the kill here. They are going to kill. Oh, the EXQ from Biceps keeps him alive. That could have been bad.
That was just an impressive attempt there to be able to hold on here, but it looks like we're going to find ourselves with Pulstrunk able to pull out there. And I mean, I might be a little bit harsh here, and you can let me know if that's the case, but I feel like a pull from Thorn into an M2 from Jade as an opener as early as that without any major kind of cooldowns being traded, the fight happening, that shouldn't happen quite consistently.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfavorable. There was no pressure on the Jade, like you mentioned, so she was just able to M2, and then down in that corner, that double snipe to start things off. Like, the game was just kind of over from that point. They had so much energy.
So much damage so fast in that round. I mean, how many times can you look at that screenshot and you go, yeah, I'm going to win this game? It doesn't feel like it's very often.
Yeah, and the Jade, that is where she excels, when she doesn't have that pressure and she can just line up and snipe, especially with this Battlerite build Geekish Nerd has taken. He wants to just sit unpressured and throw out these M2s.
Pretty easy to mix up, though, if Weedham boys would like to do so. And it was just the first round of the game, so we'll figure out if it happens once more. Thorn's going to be distributed there with the M2s dropped on both sides. Blood Assassin is the start there, but surely not going to be the finish of the focus. As you see Geekish Nerd always setting up that M2. It's a great tool to, nice pullback actually, making him use the M2 on a different target there, and Weedham boys actually get that orb.
Yeah, M1 from Bloods ends up securing it pretty good for him. The snipe from Jade going to come out, but it's going to get no value, and now the pressure from the blue Thorn onto the Jade. He rotates back onto the backline. The deadly inject being thrown on Jade too, and now Weedham boys have all the momentum.
EX1 used there onto onto Lucy to get that snare. Now the smite damage coming in. Lorio's actually getting threatened for the first time in a while. Dead Roots being thrown by Satyr, and they end up getting that orb. M2 going to connect with the pull back, forcing out that burrow as the panic goes down. Another snipe going to be dropped there for Geekish Nerd, but he gets reeled back in by Satyr on that pull. Ultimate coming out from Iva. Spray and pray there. Not enough to get a kill, and a goo going to be dropped down, forcing now what looks like Sephiroth back for a moment. Ulrich hitting a 2-man stun, moving up. This is very, very tense here.
Yeah, this is very doable for Weedham boys as Lorio has next to no energy, doesn't have that ultimate available, but the damage is starting to come out up top onto Sephiroth. He can't quite handle this pressure. Jade trying to alleviate it by letting her ultimate rip, and it hits onto Bloods and Lorio. Lorio now sitting on no healing charges. They need to play a little bit safe here, but up top, Satyr is just having so much fun in this backline.
Great job with the EXQ from Biceps, able to heal the team and get the shield for a little bit longer. Pull back onto the orb, and even using that shift M1, they're not able to secure the orb. 48 damage coming out, but still not the orb for themselves. Look at that flamethrower there against the Radiant Shield. The members of Weedham boys healthier there. Dead Roots goes down by Satyr. Can they get this turn? They need to make something happen there. Unable to do so as Biceps drops.
Good ultimate from Satyr to secure the kill. Really nicely played from Satyr overall. You know, I mentioned earlier how I didn't know this guy. I wasn't familiar with his name, but his play is something I could definitely see myself getting familiar with. He's incredibly good, and I expect to see a lot more from this guy.
I agree, actually. You know, I feel like when looking and reviewing a lot of the games, you know, out of last week when I thought of Thorn, I feel like Luminosity sat at more the top of the name, but definitely after the performance and play here from Satyr, he's right now, when I think of Thorn, he's the most impactful that we feel like we've seen for a majority of it here. Granted, we haven't got any cool creative root network use yet, but I'm looking for that day.
That's, no EX space.
That to this day, EX space is my, whenever we see a Thorn properly use that for cheeky plays, I just go, I'm in love.
That's why it's so fun watching Lumi, right?
Yeah.
He's just so incredibly good at it. He never misses it, which is incredibly impressive, as you learned the hitbox is so
insanely small.
It's very small, so it takes a lot of skill to use that. So back to this game, though, Geekish Nerd, this is what the round is going to look like when he doesn't hit all of these snipes. He didn't have as much pressure onto him, but without landing those snipes, Pulstrunk kind of lacking all of the damage they need.
Start things out the same way, as you said. Pull landed for Weedham Boys. Entangling roots so they get the snipe follow-up. No, trying to get the mix-up there, but Sad are able to dodge that one out. Orb comes up, already 25% put into Lorio. Nice snipe. Polstrong consume that first orb for themselves. Gaining the tempo, though. Lorio has the opportunity to heal up through that true HP, but the pullback there on from Sephirodot. Not able to get the Thorn knockback there with that Battlerite.
A lot of Lucy cooldowns used. No Clarity Potion, no roll, but once again, Lorio's positioning A1. He's sitting so far back, he can't be punished for his abilities. Now the orb, it's going to spawn, and it's not going to be gotten by the Iva ultimate. Now the Dead Roots from Red is coming out. So much damage onto this Iva, but the shield is available. Now the Barbed Husk being forced to be used, as does the barrier, but those shields are so perfect that Thorn is finally starting to take damage from the Jade ultimate, but still, he's much healthier than he should be. They need to find a counter punish here, though. They need to punish this Ulrich, but they're not going to get nearly as much as they needed to, and great coordination from Bolstrong puts out so much damage.
Geekish Nerd here now setting up another snipe. Did a very good job unleashing that ultimate. Bloodsassin did his best there with the tractor beam to try and deter it and put her in a bad position. Now the pullback is going to try and do that. Spacebar, another ultimate here. Unleashed tractor beam number 2 to say nigh to that. But this snipe gets that follow-up onto Satter after the entangling roots. He's going to distribute one snipe onto the orb. Weedham Boys actually claim it for themselves.
Oh,
the two-man knockup. He gets the barrier. Can he get the turn? Biceps is so low. The iframe goes in. The goo goes down. The knockback. Sephirodot is so low. Oh my Lorio on that Lucy. Clutching it out.
Dude, I love watching this dude play Lucy. The Iva ultimate going to drop and just going to shred this Jade, taking half of her HP. But man, Lorio, a great punish. He recognized that there was an opening and took it on that Thorn and just dropped the ultimate, hit him with that sick Clarity Potion. Was like, nah, you're staying in this. You're not going anywhere.
It was the wildebeest of yesterday here. We got Lorio on Lucy, set up the ultimate, and then we're going to be like, nope, I'm going to push you right back in that, boys, back where you belong.
Man, and can I say that round looked really bad for Weedham Boys.
Yeah.
He was hit down so low so early on, but they managed to come back into it off the back of a great ultimate from Satter and Lorio's sick ultimate. Huge plays here.
Yeah, that was the first time that we had seen Lorio really even take even a reasonable amount of damage, even if actual damage past the 40 threshold. I feel like in the first couple of seconds of this round, or of these rounds, out of the entire of that, and they still were able to hold on to it. Normally, when you're like a Lucy and you're like halfway through and you're like, I haven't been touched, you're like, this is going to be a darn good round. But even with the pressure there, Weedham Boys, they hold on.
Yeah, we'll see if they can keep it up here. Polstrong trying to find a snipe, but no luck to start this one off. A little bit of damage coming out here. The Barbed Husk going to be forced by Sephirodot, and he doesn't take too much damage, and a nice snipe there onto the Blue Thorn. The orb, though, it's so important. Red team is going to get it. A nice double burrow, sets up some good damage, but it's not as much as they wanted, especially after that orb loss.
R's going to connect there for Biceps as they end up hitting the stuns follow-up there. Burrow coming out. Barbed Husk going to gain a bit of value as the Petrify goes down. A nice Barbed Husk used by Sephirodot immediately after that Petrify, returning that Thorns back. Ulrich comes back in with that spacebar, looking for a stun with that M1. Orb up, who gets it here for themselves.
Blue team, okay. That Iva ultimate managed to snag it. I wasn't sure if it'd be able to, but the 8 damage tick got it. And man, Geekish Nerd took a huge chunk of damage from that Taser plus pull combo.
Barbed Husk thrown down again.
Good snipe.
Look at that damage. Oh, man. Thorn in a really bad position. So much crowd control being distributed there, and the knockup onto the backline. Bloodsassin won't be able to support the squad. That's a Barbed Husk going down. He's only got one left. Iva ultimate comes out, and it secures the orb here for Weedham Boys.
Yeah, he lays a bunch of it into the Jade at the end, too. A sick double Taser. The Goo going to come out. Oh, does he have the clarity? He does! Lorio always has that clarity, and Sephirodot's not going anywhere.
The ultimate comes out from Jade, and the Barbed Husk deterred Satter from being able to be the focused target. The pull coming back, spacebar to buy a bit of time underground. He's going to come back in, say, what's up, squad? The snare is there from Geekish Nerd, but with the in-cap response on Bloodsassin, they have a chance still, but it is very, very slim there. As the knockup goes in, Tractor Beam eats that next snipe. Weedham Boys, man, such great play there. Those Barbed Husks on Sephirodot have been on point.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing such a good job keeping their allies alive. Finally knocked out of here is the Ulrich of Red. He's going to try to throw the Aegis, but Satter's not having any of it. He's saying slow down a little bit. Take it easy. You ain't going anywhere. Oh. Nice, Barbed Husk. I'm having a little bit of a flashback to Hot Biscuit here.
Yeah, from the Hot Biscuit play earlier on. And excuse me there, I said it was coming out from Sephirodot, but I meant that of Satter there, who was the man locking in with another dead root and another kill. So what is it now that I feel like it's fair to say we've got a pattern here with the 3 wins on the side of Weedham Boys. What is the thing that they, Polstrong needs to be shifting in the next one?
They got to knock it ultied. You got to be a lot more aware of energy and not hard commit your iframes, because we're seeing Biceps and Sephirodot go in very aggressively, using that burrow, using that Ulrich space, and then they're just getting owned by these sick goos and by these amazing dead roots. You really got to play more patiently and maybe sit back, farm up some orbs, and not get greedy for these kills.
We'll see if Biceps and friends can make that happen here. I mean, one thing we have seen some teams willing to pick it up here and there is the increased distance whenever you have the favor on your spacebar, but it's not the choice here for Biceps. I was wondering if that might be something they would have to rely on to be able to make sure they can get out, but it's going to be all in here for Pulse-Drunk and friends.
Nice snipe.
Baits out a Lorio kind of barrier. Two-man knockup from Sephirodot, or Satter. Barbed Husk going to get a little bit of value there. Entangling Roots. Orb going to be picked up by Weedham Boys as the iframe used there by Post-Drunk, as we were talking about before.
Man, this Jade having no luck this round, not landing any of her snipes yet, but they still find a pretty massive burst damage onto this Bluethorn. He's going for the pull, trying to find that kill onto Jade, but he's not going to get it this snipe, though. I saw that one coming, and that one is going to land every time. Satyr has nowhere to go.
We brought it up right before this starts. When you hear the snipe, you drop the spacebar and you get the reveal, but what happens when the spacebar comes first? We got the answer very quick. Immediately, Jay goes, all right, let's line them up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Geekish Nerd had the cast on that time. He heard me early into that round saying he wasn't landing any snipes. He's like, let me clean this up real quick. Ends up hitting 2 snipes to kill off both Satyr and Bloods. And, you know, Pulse-Drunk, they're not out of it by any means.
Respected. The amount of 360s we had achieved before the end of that round is far greater than we've gotten through a majority of the BPL, so we got that going for us here.
I wish I could make a snowman as nice as Thorn.
It is. I just love it with his one, wild monstrous skin where he looks completely different, and then you have the random snowman come out. Just the victory pose for him, it just looks like, who am I playing? Like, I have a snowman, like, is this Alicia? But then I'm this, like, demon thing with, like, one, I don't know. I absolutely love the combination.
If Xander is Lucy's brother, then Thorn is Alicia's brother, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and bring up the lore here. Yeah, it turns out that's a true statement.
Nice.
Q came out there from Weedham Boys on that Satyr, Entangling Roots as well, along with the taser. No M2 follow-up, at least not quite yet. See Geekish Nerd set up with another snipe there. M2 come through, they secure that orb. So good orb control there coming out from Geekish Nerd.
Oh, this is really bad for Lorio. He got pulled in, he gets the zap, and he now has enough energy for roll. The situation's been salvaged a little bit, but that's still not how you want to use your roll. And the snipe hits immediately after. They're just not letting Lorio out either. He gets hit by another pole. The barrier's available, but man, the damage that's come out onto him is absolutely massive, and the Ulrich's not letting up. A good Petrify, though, slows down the roll of the red team, but they get another orb.
Yeah, he just got the energy for the, that was a double snipe coming through him, along with the ultimate from Geekish Nerd, and my goodness, you said you thought Geekish Nerd heard you in the last round, and I was doubting it at first, but now I'm confident. That was ridiculous. That was near, I mean, it felt like a 75% hit rate on that. And that was like, he was hitting multi-snipes, which is something you do not really see that often.
A big main reason that happened, though, is because of this boy you see on your screen right now. Sephirodot played incredibly well that round, forced Lorio to use all of his escapes really unideally, and they just punished hard. They went in when the roll and the barrier were used, and Lorio just had nothing to get away from it. And the snipes from Geekish Nerd were on point, landing on the Lucy, landing on Satyr, and just Weedham Boys kind of fell apart there. You can't have your Lucy pulled out of position like that.
See if Lorio can keep it under control here, and considering a majority of the wins on the side of Weedham Boys have been at his hand, it's not surprising the losses also can fall there. So much pressure within the Lucy itself. No stun used quite yet there for Biceps. Already lost his Q. He takes a bit of damage. Stun's going to be thrown down. The oil pressure onto Biceps, and the flamethrower thrown out.
Yeah, Weedham Boys doing great here. A very strong opener, and they have mid control. They're going to take that orb. High value Barbed Husk out of Satyr, too.
We see Sephirodot going with that space bar. He's going to get the follow with the Ulrich stun. It lands onto Iva here as the M2 comes out. Geekish Nerd and friends going to get hit a little bit here. Satyr not able to hit his Entangling Roots there, and another pull attempt coming out from Sephirodot. Pulse-Drunk falling pretty low here. Nice job with the punishment there. They need to be able to get this orb. The pull back there. Clarity Potion, Iva's ultimate, and Grip all used. They end up getting the orb, but you got to help but wonder. The miscommunication there, definitely a bit of a parent.
Yeah, Satyr has his ultimate, though. All of the players on the blue team actually sitting on a full ultimate. We'll look for the punish here. The Jet Roots comes out. The Iva gets ruined. Wow.
Gets ruined here, but nobody actually going down. Never mind. Geekish Nerds finds himself another one. I feel like, you know, as a Jade main here, are you feeling like it's meeting up to the Jade standard?
Well, they found a kill. Before we get onto that, let's finish this round right quick. Sephiroth gets burst down by Satyr, and now the HP pool is very far in favor of We Dem Boys. Ultimates, Geekish Nerd almost sitting on his. The Dead Roots is close to available from Satyr. This could still go either way, Dreadnought.
I mean, at this point, it feels like if Pulsung is going to get this turned around, it has to be with the pressure on Delorio. Snipe number 1, not going to make happen because Entangling Roots does go down. We see the stealth. Does he go for another snipe?
Yeah, he uses that regular stealth so he can use the ultimate. He gets a decent amount of value out of it. Lorio very nicely rolls that stun, so he doesn't need the empowered M1 of Ulrich. Dodges
the Entangling, gets the favor. Pull back onto Ulrich, getting the space bar. He's got a stun available. He's going to hit that Barbed Tusk. Orb going over the Pulse Strunk. Now we see the trade. Jade trying to trade there a little bit into Lorio. Snipe going to come out, and Entangling Roots denies that one. There's the pull back. Now look at Ulrich go in for that stun. Deadroot's going to get that pull back. Radiant Shield gets the blind, but the Snipe lands. He doesn't end up getting the silence here. Barrier comes through, and pull drops.
Lorio has his ultimate now. This is going to be very important. This orb is so key. Thorn's able to get it. Okay.
Divinity.
Good punish. He should die here.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, he's going to go down. Nowhere to go in that goo. He uses the Radiant Shield. He spaces aggressively, and that's what you can't do when a Lucy has a goo. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. You can't play so recklessly so late into the game. Lorio has an ult in that situation 10 out of 10 times. You cannot put yourself in a situation as that Ulrich to get ulted.
And with that, We Dem Boys end up holding on and setting themselves now at the match point.
Really sick play from Satyr to even bring him back into that. Like we talked about, Sephiroth, he got burst down very swiftly by the blue Thorn, and We Dem Boys, they had no place in that round, but sometimes you just take those.
Sometimes you end up taking those here. I also appreciate some of the diversity when it comes to the builds onto the Thorn. It does seem like everybody is very much in agreement. M1 damage debuff mixed with the debuff onto the Toxin, or the Thorn, excuse me. So high impact there. And add the two together, I don't even want to be the mathematician that has to try and do that math.
Yeah, I didn't go to college. I'm not doing that math.
Yeah,
I'm here talking about games for a reason.
Let's play video games, ladies and gentlemen. We Dem Boys is playing it, and they're now, again, 1 win away from taking the series. Geekish Nerd able to dodge that pull, looking for a snipe opportunity. Pull back under the orb. They get the orb, but the trade is still somehow going in favor of We Dem Boys.
All the shields used on Satyr. A little bit of an unfortunate stack there, but Sephiroth, he ends up taking significantly more damage than anyone on We Dem Boys, and this is not where you want to be. The Iva already dropping that all. Oh my god!
Oh. Spraying and praying, just so much damage there. The pull in. Burrow's going to buy some time for Sephiroth. Orb is up here as the panic ends up dropping onto Ulrich. The orb will conclude there, but Sephiroth is already gone down there with that split. We Dem Boys look like they have what it takes to be able to close this out.
Man, the Iva ultimate once again being dropped, getting a lot of damage on the Geekish Nerd. Now the ultimate from Lorio again, getting so much damage onto that Jade, and this is looking like it's going to be it. The Iva might go down, but a nice tractor. He goes for the AoE, but he's not going to be able to get it.
I think almost every single ultimate we've seen from Geekish Nerd has gotten tractor beamed in this round. It was very well done there. Another pull back to try and seal the deal here of this series. Sun coming through along with the Barbed Tusk. Another favor spacebar dash back. M2 lands after the Entangling Roots. The pull in. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We Dem Boys is going to go ahead and take this 5-3.
A much closer game than I expected, though. Pulse Trunk doing really well. Geekish Nerd making the Jade work to an extent, but at the end of the day, We Dem Boys just looking a little bit too good, and they're able to take that game. I believe now in the BPL, Jade is 0-6. We have not seen a win from a Jade yet.
That hurts.
That's sad, right?
That was a tough stat you hit me with there. I was trying to find a silver lining before I responded, and I was like, I don't really have one.
Yeah, even in the rounds where Geekish Nerd looked good, it just wasn't good enough sometimes.
Yeah, outside of the this shouldn't happen situations where you're like, oh, there's a, you know, I feel like even with the ultimate uses a lot of times where normally when we look at Jade, you're going, here's the snipes to have that momentum. But I feel like in the last game, there was a couple of moments where we had even pretty good ultimate uses and it still didn't have, you know, the same punch that it definitely used to have there for that Jade.
Yeah, but, you know, We Dem Boys, I think most of that wasn't due to comp. I think they just played exceptionally well. And today, they looked very hot today. They almost took down Gatekeepers. Satyr, playing as the substitute, really came in and put on work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was ridiculous. I don't want to say he was the carry because, I mean, let's be real here. Lorio on that Lucy was ridiculous from beginning to end. And I don't even want to take away from Bloodsassin because I feel like he was definitely making some plays there as well. But to be a substitute and to be even up to be contested as the MVP of your team, I think that's a huge step.
Absolutely. Yeah, as you mentioned, though, Lorio looks so good today. I hope I'm as good as Lorio when I grow up.
I mean, I think that I hope I'm as good as any of these players when I grow up.